What's up, what's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we take a look back at the early works of seasoned comedians before they were seasoned with this week's guest, Stephen the Sitcom Ortiz. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humourist and host of Done Way Past Funny. Thank you for joining us as we continue our interview with comedian Stephen the Sitcom Ortiz. Enjoy. I know with me, it was something, I mean, like I said, because I've been doing comedy about 10 years and 2 months. Yeah, 10 years and 2 months, September 15th. So I had one of the things
10
I
years,
wanted to
2 months, and 5 days. Sorry, go on.
13 hours. And but and the concept, not the concept. My mother was raped in 1957, and so my mother, it had an impact on her. But my mother, had it shaped. I was born in 59, and it shaped the way she raised me. And I'm not saying that I was the rape baby. I'm not the rape baby. That was actually my other brother. My other brother was the baby from the rape. But the way my mother had kids before then and afterwards. So she had the pre-rape children and the post-rape children. And the post-rape children were raised totally different than the pre-rape children. And so, and that was something I noticed. I began to notice, like when I was in my 30s, I said, just my mother, just everything about her changed, and I wanted to be able to talk about that. And then like 10, 20 years later, I'm doing comedy. And one of the first things I was talking about my mother, and that's one of the things I want to tell my mother's story, because I'm sure that other people had been raped and it changed their life. And I wanted to get them the message that don't let that moment define you, And so I'm in a room with a bunch of comedians. I said, I really want to tell the story about my mother being raped. And they'd be like, oh God, no, don't do that. My ass just tightens up. You're just thinking about it. And it's and every time I mention it, comedians would be like, oh God, no, man. Oh God, no. And so I just gave up. I still was working on it in my head, but I just gave up. I just didn't tell anybody about it. I was having a conversation with another comedian. It was a woman comedian. And we were talking, and I just talked about my mother my mother being raped, and we were both laughing. And she goes, "This is good." "This is good," and we kept talking, and I didn't write it down, and I couldn't remember how I did it. I couldn't remember how I got there, because it's not, you don't want to like slap them in the face. You got to ease them into it.
Right.
And I did it. I successfully did it, and with a woman. And she thought it was very funny in the way I did it. And I didn't write it down. And so like 2 or 3 months, I'm going like, God damn it. And I'm starting to work. I'm trying to do it again. And I found another way. It wasn't the same way. Because with her, it was just a conversation that just evolved. And so with comedy, it's like, what you're about to talk about. It's no surprise to you. Maybe, but. And so I figured it out. And I first did it, and it was a mixed audience, men and women. The women thought it was really good. They were laughing, but they also came up afterwards and they told me it was really good. The guys said, that was good, but it made my ass cheeks tighten. But they were laughing. I heard them laughing. So, but they were uncomfortable because, the bad guy is a guy, and he's a rapist, So, and that's why they were probably all tight, but it worked. And I've done it like maybe 5 times, and it's worked over and over again. But it took me years to develop it because, because I was fine talking about it. I had no problem talking about it, and but even just other comedians, when I tell them what the topic was at first, they'd be like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. You'll never make that funny. Don't do it. And of course, as soon as they say you'll never make it funny, it's like, you know something? Even if I wanted to give up now, I can't.
Yep.
Because I'm a
Yeah,
comedian.
it's one of those things, man. It's kind of the art of comedy, right? It's as long as it's funnier than it is offensive,
Yeah.
and if it's the art of getting away with it, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. For the thing that,
when people say you're a comedian, you can say whatever you want. Yes, but there's a huge caveat on that. It's got to be funny. You can't just go
yes.
out and say shit to say it. Like if you just went out and said my mom was raped, ha 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 ha,
Right.
that's fucking disgusting and terrible to say. But if you can go out and tell a story and weave a narrative and draw and punch it up and lead them into the story and tell them about it, it's funny. It's a healing thing. We can connect on this, like it's one of the reasons I love comedy. That's, I think you and I have talked about this privately. It's comedy for us. There's a lot of intrinsic value in it, way more that outweighs the monetary at times. And one of
Right.
those being that you can take a really fucked up topic or something really terrible that's happened to you, and we can all laugh about it and not laugh at each other, but with each other.
Yeah. And some of it's because it's some of it, like in the case of my mother, it wasn't my mother's fault that she got raped.
Right?
It wasn't her fault that she had to carry the baby to term.
Mm-hmm.
Abortion was illegal in 1957. And if you
Right.
were going to get an abortion, it had to be back alley. Now, maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's timely that I finally got it right at this juncture in our society when abortion is on the verge of being like it was in 1957,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be maybe forced to carry a rapist baby. Maybe that's
Yep.
why. Maybe that's why I couldn't get it straight because like, it's not relevant. Well, it's relevant now. So I
It
don't.
is indeed, unfortunately.
So and that's why I want to tell that story because even though it was 1957, um, my it impacted the way my mother did a lot of stuff, but it wasn't none of it was ever her fault. It wasn't her fault that she got pregnant. It wasn't her fault that she was raped. It wasn't her fault that she had to carry the baby to term. Um,
Right.
it was her fault the way she raised me. Okay, because I had nothing to do with the rape. I was like a year after that. I was like a year and a half. I was 2 years later. She got raped in July of 1957. I was born in November of 1959. I was conceived in February of 1959. I had nothing to do with it. I don't know why she raised me to took it out on me, but okay, that's beside the point. All I'm saying is
Oh
it's
man.
not her fault, but she didn't have to take it out on me. But and so telling that story helps other women, I hope, and
Yeah.
and the fact that you know, well, I just so I was just curious about that, because a lot of times there was a comedian, a young comedian, really young, I mean young. It was his first show, and he lied to get on it. He opened for us, and it was his first show. He lied. He said he had experience, and he hadn't. And he told the joke that actually was a very good premise, but he was so nervous that it just didn't fly right. But it
Mm,
was really good joke, really sound
no.
premise, and
Yeah.
he
See,
didn't get it, and he didn't get a
I
laugh.
don't get that, man. I, while granted, some of my experiences I'll punch up, for the bit. Everything I tell has a grain of truth to it. There's something in there that's legitimately that's happened, and
Right.
I was able to twist it into something funny. I could never I never endorse just completely making up a thing.
Well, what he
And
made up was his resume. He told us,
oh,
he told us,
that's the
yeah,
worst
he
thing to
told us
make
that,
up.
yeah, he told us that he, been on shows, blah blah blah, and he hadn't. This was the first time he'd been on a show. He'd done open mics, but this is the first show, and the joke didn't
Mm,
land. And as soon as it didn't land, he started doing this. He started looking, he holding the mic like this. He starts looking down at his feet, and he's doing the rest of his show, staring at his feet, and telling his material kind of like this. It's like, tell people a little bit about yourself. Tell the people
oh
about the
boy.
and yeah, he just says because he didn't get that first laugh, and he didn't get the first laugh because of nerves. So I talked to him afterwards, and he's like, "I'm just going to give up that joke." I said, first of all, it wasn't a joke; it was you. That was a good joke. You fucked it up by the way you told it. I said, what?
Yeah.
I said, and I said, when you usually tell that joke, what kind of response do you get? He goes, well, I've only performed at open mics. I said, what? You what? I said, you lied to us to get on this show. And I said, I'm gonna tell you now. I don't care how funny you ever become. You'll never work with me again
Yeah.
because you don't lie to me. You do not lie to
Mhm.
me. If I say to you, I need you to do 15 minutes, and you only have 10 minutes, and then you do 10 minutes, and then you just take 5 minutes and just start to say you're going to do crowd work. No, that's not why I booked you. If you tell me, if I say I need you to do 15 minutes, you say I can only do 10, but they're really good 10, great. I'll make up the 5. I got 9 hours worth of fucking material. You think I can't rap for 5 fucking minutes?
Right.
Don't lie. If you're a comedian out there, don't put yourself in a position where when you fail, other people fail too. If
Hmm.
you're gonna fail, take yourself down, and then shoot
Yep.
yourself in the alley after the show. No, I'm just saying no.
Well, I mean, listen, if you're bombing and you can't remove yourself from the stage and let everyone else make up the time with good material, Allie's not a bad choice. Don't ruin the show for everybody. Don't be an asshole. Like,
Look, the
uh,
first, and I've okay. For those of you who watched this show and heard me tell this before, I'm sorry. It's about 2 minutes. You can leave the room and come back, or just fast forward. I'll do this. I'll do this when I'm done, so you can stop fast forwarding. Okay, got it. The first time I did a 90-minute set, I was not supposed to do 90 minutes. I was supposed to do 1 hour. Uh, there was the opener was supposed to do 15 minutes, and no, yeah, 15 minutes, and then the feature was going to do 15 or 20 minutes. It was a bad snowstorm. The feature didn't show up. I didn't know this at the time because I'm worried about me. Me. All I cared about was me in my time. The opener goes up. He does 3 minutes, and he does not give one laugh. And he
oh,
goes, fuck it, I'm done. And he just walks off, sets the mic down, and walks off. The host says to me, the feature isn't going to make it. He's stuck in the snow. He goes, can you do 90 minutes? And I went, yeah, I can do 90 minutes. And he goes, okay. And then he goes up and he says, your headliner for the evening. And I did 90 minutes. Actually, I did 86 minutes. Close enough. But it was
yeah,
the
I say
first
that's close
time.
enough.
Yeah, close enough. 86 minutes. But I was only supposed to do an hour. That meant for 24 minutes, but it was a good fucking show. And that's the one where I ended it with a Stevie Wonder song parody. And the guy, this is in West Virginia, and the guy says to me after the show, he goes, you're pretty funny. I said, thank you. He goes, now I don't know who the Stevie Wonder guy is, but that song you did was pretty funny. And I thought he was pulling my leg, and I was waiting for him to, tell me I really do know who Stevie Wonder is. And his
Oh
wife says,
man.
and I'm looking, and she goes, he doesn't know who Stevie Wonder is. He really doesn't. I'm like, fuck, you gotta be kidding me. Well, at least the song parody was funny. So even if he didn't know who
Oh.
Stevie Wonder is, it made sense. So he didn't know Stevie Wonder. He didn't know Stevie Wonder was blind. So he didn't get when I put on the sunglasses and I started doing this in the song. He didn't know what that was. He had no fucking
That's
idea.
hilarious.
Everybody else is going like, because I don't start the song like that. I start the song like a sighted person, and I become blind as the song ends. I become more and more blind as the song ends. And now I'm totally blind with the glasses, and I'm just clapping like this. And he's just like, I don't know how Stevie Wonder fella is, but you're pretty funny. Okay,
That's awesome.
you
GB,
passed
this
that.
has been awesome, man. Thank you for having me. This has been a fun time.
Well, sorry, I shouldn't have ended it with something about me. Let's end it about something about you. Is there a cause or something? Or do you have 2 minutes, or are the kids coming in like right now?
No, no, no. We have probably about 5 minutes.
Cool. Because I want to end it on something about you. Is there a cause or something that you really care about that you want to take a moment to address? Either comedically or just like wheelchair accessible comedy stages. I don't know, whatever it is that floats your boat or whatever gets your goat. Something you want to address.
Um, Well, sure. I'll address something and then I'll plug something if that's okay. So,
Ooh,
um,
sure.
yeah,
We like a good
yeah.
plug around here.
Oh man. So, yeah. I mean, I definitely, I think not I think, but I'm definitely gonna put some emphasis on advocating for more accessibility in clubs for sure. Um, while obviously there are some historic places that I cannot expect for them to just totally destroy and reconstruct. Um, but there's a lot of clubs that are new or newer that could modify, and I feel like do it fairly easily. And there's a lot of advantages to doing it. I mean, not only an accessible club opens up to more customers, more performers in general. Um, I'm sure there's some tax breaks for it too, um, but in general, when I go to perform, granted, I can perform anywhere. You give me a microphone, I don't need a stage. But there are times when being on stage would absolutely be beneficial when it comes to lighting, when it comes to, maybe it's a contest or something. Stand up is all done a certain way for a certain reason. And there's some of us that are doing stand up that can't do it to its fullest because we don't have the same access everyone else has. So, um, and I want to give a shout out to Slaptail Nation and Dormouse Theater in Kalamazoo, Michigan. They came out, scouted me, invited me to their next open mic as one of their featured comics, and then I'm going to be doing a show for them. But he went out, purchased a ramp, and modified his stage simply because he knew I was coming. So shout out to them. Shout out to John who I've talked to and did all the work. Shout out because he's done something that not another club has even entertained the idea of. So yeah. So if you're listening to this and you have a club, there are some talented folks out there that cannot walk that you are missing out on, even if it's not me. So so
He means him, but it's
don't
if
miss
it's not
out.
him.
I do also mean me, yes. And then I'm gonna plug something. Speaking of mobility, I also have a GoFundMe that I'm doing right now, and that is to get myself a handicap van. Now I know a lot of the questions are, you're disabled, ask the government to do it, get a program to do it. And here's the issue: when it comes to the government doing it, or even a foundation doing it, I don't have a brand name disease, right? I don't have cerebral palsy. I don't have, spina bifida, leukemia. And I'm not a wounded vet. So all of those into consideration, there's really no program for somebody that just like me. Now there are ways that I can get some assistance if I get a brand new van, but it has to be brand new due to safety reasons. So basically this GoFundMe is to obtain a van, and then I can get everything else taken care of through the means that I have to get it modified. So whether it's being shared or you're donating, either way, it all helps just to get the word out there. Because not only will it get me to gigs, but it'll also give me back some independence. And I can also, like I've been doing, help other comics as well because I tend to transport comics to gigs a lot. So it'd be nice to be able to get back on the road and, also help some comics along the way.
Now, so the people understand that you're not trying to rip them off. This isn't like one of those other things. This is because I know you, and I can almost vouch for you. Let the people get the people to understand that this van will have windows, and so that it's not like you're luring kids into the back of it. Okay, this.
No, no, no. I can assure you that this will not be used for any predatory things.
Okay.
This will have windows, seats. In fact, if there's anyone out there that wants to chip in, and then and you have a wrap shop, you can even wrap it however you want. We can make it as flashy as you want it to. In fact, we call my vehicles the comedy short bus is what we call my
Okay.
vehicles, because I'll pack 3 or 4 comics in there and we'll hit the road. So
Now, and I'm not bragging, but I did donate, and I was actually the first donor as far as I know. Yeah, because it said $0 and I donated. So
Yes, you were the
you
first.
people out there, I put my money where my mouth is, which and if I've never put my money on your dick, my mouth's never been there.
He
So
put his
if I
money
put
where
my
his donation was, in his
yes,
mouth.
that's right. So I'm not yeah. So I believe in him and I'm just promoting what he does and so
Well,
that's
GD,
it.
I appreciate you, man.
You
I
know,
appreciate you, and I appreciate the support, man. You're a good guy, and I'm really excited to get to come out and meet you in person and do a
yeah,
thing.
we'll promote the fuck out of that show in
Oh yeah,
January when it comes around. Now,
yep.
do we mention how people can stalk you on social media?
We have not.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah,
Let's plug your stuff.
yeah, man. So you can find me on all social medias. The at the sitcom. That's at TheeSitcom. If you type that in, you'll find that on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, Blue Sky, Twitch, all the above. Or you can go to the link tree, which you'll find around in or around this video at some point, as well as at the bottom here. Link tree, link.tree slash these or yeah, the sitcom. And you'll find everything all in one spot there. So yeah, man.
And also, they can watch you play games on X's that you actually you play with your duty or something.
Yeah, if you go to twitch.tv slash the sitcom, I play video games there. So I play Call of Duty. Actually right now, after this and once my kids are done with homework, I'll be playing Microsoft Flight Simulator. So
All
yeah,
right,
good stuff. I'm a
all right,
nerd. Surprise.
all right. So thanks. I appreciate you doing this with me.
Hey man, anytime, man. I got your back.
All right, now you take care. Later.
Yes, sir.